You are standing in the center of the octagon. The canvas is cold under your bare feet. Across from you is Jose Aldo. He is the undisputed featherweight champion of the world. He has not lost a fight in 10 years. He is a terrifying, ruthless leg kicker who has destroyed generations of fighters. The referee steps back. The bell rings. Aldo charges forward. He throws a heavy right hand, dipping his head, putting all his venom into a left hook. For a normal fighter, the instinct is to panic, to block, to retreat. But you do not retreat. You step backward with your left foot, absorbing his momentum, creating a trap. You plant your foot. You fire a straight left hand down the pipe. It is thrown with absolutely flawless, terrifying precision. It connects directly with his chin. Aldo goes completely stiff. He crashes face first into the canvas. The fight is over in 13 seconds. It is the fastest knockout in UFC title fight history. The arena erupts into pure chaos. You leap onto the top of the cage, beating your chest, screaming into the flashing lights. You just killed a king. But this shot was not lucky. It was not an accident. It was the result of a desperate, violent obsession that started in the freezing rain of Ireland. The Plumber of Crumlin. To understand the left hand, you have to understand the dirt it was forged in. You were born in Crumlin, a working-class suburb of Dublin, Ireland. You do not have wealth. You do not have a safety net. It is the dead of winter. You are 17 years old. You wake up at 5 a.m. in pitch blackness. You stand on the side of the freezing road waiting for a van to pick you up. You are a plumber's apprentice. You spend 12 hours a day up to your knees in freezing mud, fixing broken pipes in the bitter rain. Your hands are raw. Your back aches. You stare at the older plumbers around you, men whose bodies have been completely broken by decades of manual labor. You feel a profound, terrifying claustrophobia. You look at the pipes and realize, if I stay here, I will die here. So, you quit. You throw down your tools and walk away. Your parents are furious. They tell you that you are throwing your life away to fight in cages for no money. But you walk into Straight Blast Gym. You meet a bespectacled, quiet man named John Kavanagh. He is an engineer turned martial arts coach. You step onto the mat. You are arrogant. You drop one of his best fighters in sparring. So Kavanagh puts on his own gloves. He steps onto the mat. He takes you down, pins you to the canvas, and beats you until you physically cannot breathe. When you get up, he doesn't throw you out. He asks you a simple question. Are you here to fight, or are you here to learn? You choose to learn. You dedicate your entire existence to the mechanics of the human body. You obsess over movement. You obsess over angles. But the reality is brutal. You are surviving on a 188 euros weekly social welfare check. You don't have money for protein. You don't have money for gear. Your girlfriend, Dee Devlin, works tirelessly just to make sure you have enough calories to train. You are starving. And that starvation creates an absolute, psychotic hunger that no comfortable fighter can ever replicate. The profit. That hunger drives you to the UFC. You don't just win, you predict exactly how you are going to win. You tell the media you will knock opponents out in the first round, and then you do it. They call you Mystic Mac. You completely conquer the featherweight division. But one belt is not enough to satisfy the starvation of your past. It is UFC 205. You step into the octagon against Eddie Alvarez, the lightweight champion. If you win, you become the first fighter in UFC history to hold 2 world titles simultaneously. Eddie Alvarez is a violent, durable brawler. He expects a war. You do not give him a war. You give him an execution. You fight with a terrifying, relaxed arrogance. Your hands are down by your waist. You slip his punches by millimeters. You are not fighting. You are flowing. In the second round, he steps forward. You unleash a 4-punch combination, so fast, so mechanically perfect. It looks like it was choreographed in a movie. Left, right, left, right. Every single knuckle lands flush on his jaw. Alvarez collapses. You sit on top of the cage with 2 gold belts, draped over your shoulders, in the middle of New York City. You are 28 years old. You are the absolute undisputed king of combat sports. You have reached the absolute peak of the mountain, but that is exactly when the altitude starts to kill you. The silk sheets. When you reach the top, the game changes. You are no longer fighting for survival. You are fighting for excess. You cross over into boxing to fight Floyd Mayweather. You lose the fight, but you walk away with over $100 million. The kid who collected 188 euros welfare checks is gone. You buy custom Rolls Royces. You wear three-piece Gucci suits. You buy a yacht. You launch a whiskey company, proper number 12, that makes you hundreds of millions more. But a terrifying psychological shift happens. In the fight game, there is a very famous saying. It is hard to get out of bed at 5 a.m. to go running when you are sleeping in silk sheets. The hunger that built you, the freezing Dublin rain, the desperation, it completely vanishes. You are surrounded by yes men. You are surrounded by absolute luxury. You stop obsessing over martial arts. You start obsessing over your empire. And in the brutal, unforgiving sport of MMA, if you take your eyes off the shadows, something terrifying will creep up behind you. The Eagle. His name is Khabib Nurmagomedov. He is an undefeated Dagestani wrestler. He does not care about Gucci suits. He does not care about whiskey. He grew up wrestling actual bears in the mountains of Russia. The build-up to the fight is the darkest, most toxic period of your life. You attack a bus he is sitting on. You throw a steel dolly through the window. You cross lines of religion, family, and nationality. You try to use your psychological warfare to break his mind. But the mountain does not break. October 6, 2018, UFC 229. You step into the cage. You look across the octagon. Khabib is staring at you with dead, unblinking eyes. The fight begins. You immediately realize the terrifying truth. Your timing is gone. Your left hand, the weapon that killed Aldo, cannot stop the takedowns. He grabs you. He drags you to the canvas. For 4 rounds, he absolutely mauls you. He drains the life out of your arms. He whispers to you while he hits you. Let's talk now. In the 4th round, he wraps his thick forearm across your jaw. It is a neck crank. It feels like your spine is going to snap. The pain is excruciating. The exhaustion is absolute. You raise your hand. You tap the canvas. You surrender. The arena explodes into a riot. Khabib leaps over the cage to fight your corner. Chaos descends. But you do not move. You sit alone on the canvas, slumped against the chain-link fence. You look down at your hands. The money could not save you. The whiskey could not save you. The suits meant absolutely nothing in the dark, suffocating grip of a man who was hungrier than you. You have lost your soul. The resurrection. The world writes you off. They say you are finished. They say you are just a businessman now, a ghost of the man who conquered 2 divisions. You spend a year in the dark. You are involved in controversies. You lose your way, but somewhere in that darkness, the plumber from Crumlin wakes up. You realize you do not need the money. You have generational wealth. You do not need the fame. You have already conquered the globe. You realize the only reason to step back into the cage is because you are a fighter. It is the only thing that silences the noise in your head. You cut out the alcohol. You rebuild your body. You go back to John Kavanagh. You go back to the mechanics. It is UFC 246. You are facing Donald Cowboy Cerrone. This time, there is no trash talk. There are no flying dollies. There are no 3-piece suits at the press conference. You are quiet. You are respectful. You are clinical. The bell rings. You do not hesitate. You rush forward. Cerrone ducks into a clinch. Instead of backing away, you violently drive your own shoulder into his nose. 1, 2, 3 times. You shatter his nose with a strike no one even uses in MMA. Cerrone stumbles back. You whip a perfectly timed left high kick. It wraps around his guard and crashes into his jaw. He drops to the canvas. You follow up with merciless, pinpoint ground and pound. The referee shoves you off. It is over in exactly 40 seconds. You do not leap onto the cage to scream at the crowd. You walk over to Cowboy. You kneel beside him, you kiss him on the forehead, and thank him for the fight. You stand up in the center of the octagon. The lights shine down on you. You prove the terrifying truth about the fight game. Money makes you soft, luxury makes you slow. But when you strip away the gold, the yachts, and the billions, when you lock the cage door, the only thing that matters is the monster you are willing to become when the bell rings. They thought the money killed the fighter. But you are Conor McGregor, and you just reminded the world exactly who built the empire. If this story changed how you look at the game, hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.